So what I'd like to do is introduce some of the people that will be speaking today. My name is Jonathan Bannister. I am the CEO and Managing Partner of Cornerstone Marketing Solutions. We have my Director of Operations, Drew Elliott. We have Jose Bolanos and Mark Irving. And what we've done is we've brought some people that are industry experts that can help us right now through these difficult times. And our goal today, guys, is to make sure that when we wrap up this webinar, that each and every one of us have a better understanding about the times that we're in and what we can do to make an impact, to make sure that we thrive instead of just survive during this time. And that we answer any questions that you may have, whether that be from how to get and manage our team and ourselves through these difficult times, or how do we make changes and really get a perfect marketing plan around what you should be doing. So we want to make sure that every question that you have gets answered. We had a lot of good interaction before we jumped off, so we want to keep that dialogue open. So throughout this, please feel free to hit the chat window, hit the little thing that you can raise your hand, ask any questions that you may have, because we want to make sure that they get answered on this call by one of these experts in their field. So let's kick things off. We're Cornerstone Marketing Solutions. We are proud to say that we have this amazing relationship with York going on 4 years now. We are the exclusive marketing vendor for York Factory Direct. We have 3 divisions of the company. We have a digital marketing division, we have a print marketing division, and we have a training division. We work with HVAC contractors all across the country. And this is who we are, guys, and this is what we do. We like to teach and educate and try to come up with the best solutions and strategies to make sure that our contractors from coast to coast truly understand how to take their business from one extreme to the next. We are all about finding the strategies, whether it's helping bring on a new salesperson and taking that approach away from the owner, or it may be coming up with new strategies from a digital perspective, whether it's email marketing or PPC. But we like to sit down with our contractors and put a plan together to figure out how do we hit that growth, that number, that goal that you want to hit. So that's who we are. And that's what we've been doing with York, and we're thankful for that partnership, and we're thankful to have some of our clients on this webinar today. We did a webinar last week for our clients, but we also wanted to invite them on this call as well. So, we're in interesting times, right? I think we can all agree that we have never quite been in a time like we are now. There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainties. There's challenges that we're in now, and challenges that that are probably around the corner. So we wanted to put a panel of experts together to speak to you, to be able to touch each and every one of you, to bring some type of value and guide you during this time. We feel that there's 3 things that any successful business owner needs, and that is a positive mindset, the right strategy, and the right tools. So, we can talk about strategy, and we're going to talk about strategy, but we can talk about how we should be talking to our customers, and what is that message around our advertising? What does it look like right now? And we could talk about tools, and it could be email marketing or PPC or marketing automation, or it could be our team, right? Our tools could be the team that we've surrounded ourselves with. So we do need to make sure we have the right tools, and we need to have the right strategy. But what about mindset? right now more than ever, we're business owners, we're husbands or we're wives. A lot of us can probably say that we've been teachers. We've been turned into a teacher role here recently. So what are we doing with our mindset to make sure that the people that are leaning on us and depending on us most, that we can get through this with them, and that they see a reflection back, that they know that you're going to take care of them. What does your team look like right now? Do they see a leader that understands that we're going through a tough time, but is standing up and is leading them through this, and is ensuring them that they are going to be in good hands and that we are truly going to thrive through this crisis? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce our first guest speaker. This is Jose Bolanos. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have Jose here with us today. Jose is a world-renowned leadership coach and trainer, focused on supporting leaders and building their capacity to manage complex challenges. And I think we can all, agree that we are truly in some complex times right now. Jose is recognized for his ability to wake people up and get them through a thinking, a process of a different way to navigate and lead in a severely complex world. He's certified in present-based coaching, a development-based methodology for managing complexity, leadership, performance, and resilience. He has more than 17 years working with thousands of people in more than 13 countries. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Jose to our webinar today. And I thank you so much for joining this call and speaking to several hundred of our air-conditioned contractors around the country, and try to resonate with them through these times that they're going through. So Jose, welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, as Jonathan was saying, I train leaders and entrepreneurs to thrive in a severely complex world. And I've actually been doing this work even before these, what we're calling now COVID times, going through this crisis. So we live in a severely complex world, and we need to be complexity capable entrepreneurs, complexity capable leaders, which basically means we need to be in an optimal state to be able to manage the complexity that we all face. Usually my clients, when people ask me, why do people look for you? I usually say, because they have no other choice. They've tried it all and they still can't figure things out on their own. So they reach out to me. And given the times, there's a few more people reaching out at this moment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my philosophy and my premise and my invitation that I work with my clients, and really hope that it adds value to this audience. Okay? Again, give me a thumbs up or a yes or okay on the chat just to get some feedback going. So in managing complexity and working with complex challenges or navigating severely complex world, we start first by trying to understand the context that we're facing. So as leaders and as entrepreneurs, we need to be able to make sense of context. That would be like this first ability, making sense of context. And we use a term to describe the context that we navigate. The US Army actually coined this term in the 80s. They actually came up with an acronym called VUCA, V-U-C-A. Somebody can write it out on the chat. That would be awesome. So we face a VUCA world. Exactly. Thank you, Kristen. So VUCA stands for a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And the US Army started using this term back in the 80s, post-Cold War, to describe the geopolitical context that they were navigating. So the saying was, we're facing a VUCA world. And this concept was adopted by the business world, the coaching world, where we just fully understand that we have to fight, we face a VUCA world, a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And volatility basically means that things can change without, at the spur of the moment, anything can happen from the littlest things. And I imagine that in your business, this happens all the time. But from the littlest thing, like a client canceling or something not being delivered or the internet falling, getting shut off or cut off. So we have the littlest volatility to global volatility. So sort of like what we're living right now. Or if you've ever had something happen in your community, like a natural disaster, that would be more of a community volatile event. So we respond to the smallest volatility in our day-to-day. Like my kid could jump inside the room right now, and that to me is just an unforeseen situation that I have to manage. So there's volatility, there's uncertainty, which is the second letter. The U stands for uncertainty. And uncertainty basically means we cannot predict what's going to happen. And we're always living in uncertainty, but it's really more intense at this moment. So at this moment, we're collectively feeling the uncertainty. Write yes in your chat if you agree with that. So we're all dealing with higher levels of uncertainty. So we have volatility, we have uncertainty, and we have complexity. Complexity means that that everything's connected. Complexity is multiple variables connected. You can't really see the connection between one and the other. But right now, it's more evident how connected we are. I'm actually speaking to you guys from Nicaragua, which is in Central America, where I'm based, where I do a lot of my work from. And I can really relate, and we can probably really relate to what we're feeling and what we're going through at an experiential level. Like, I can share and relate to you guys in the level of uncertainty that we're facing and how connected that sense of really being connected to everyone right now is a lot more evident. So we live in a very complex world where multiple variables are all interconnected, and we're trying to push our projects, push our businesses in this severely complex world where different variables affect everything that's going on. So we have volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So ambiguity means that there's multiple ways to seeing and interpreting the same event, the same thing. And right now, I think a lot of us have experienced how polarized the world is, where anything we bring to the table, any little thing we talk about can be polarized. I use a very dumb example of, I don't know if you guys saw that video of a person in an airplane that's reclining their seat, and the person behind them is telling them that they can't recline it. And this actually turned into an internet debate, and the world was polarized between the pro-reclining and the against reclining seats on the airplane. And we can get any theme, anything in any topic, and turn it into an ambiguous topic and have people polarized and going from one end to the other. So it's very evident that the world is severely VUCA right now. It's severely volatile, severely uncertain, severely complex, and severely ambiguous. And it's this VUCA element in the world is not, it's not going down. It's actually getting more volatile, more uncertain, more complex, and more ambiguous. If you get it, you can write "got it" on the chat. Got it, I'm with you. So as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as individuals, we're trying to push our projects, find happiness, find success, take care of our families in a severely VUCA environment. So that's context. That's how we describe context. Again, to build our complexity capability, to be able to thrive in complexity, we got to make sense of context first. And we start making sense of context, by giving it a description. And VUCA is just a great description of what we're dealing with. Some other people use other terms. There's one person who calls it TUNA, which is turbulent, uncertain, novel, and ambiguous. And then somebody else uses another acronym, which I think is great, which is NUTS, which is novel, uncertain, turbulent, and I forget what the S stands for. So this is what we're dealt. This is what we're dealing with. So given that we live in a VUCA world, given that we're facing a VUCA context and that's incrementing, each one of you listening to this webinar, each person here listening to me has a VUCA capability. And your VUCA capability is basically how well you handle volatility, how well you handle uncertainty, how well you handle complexity and ambiguity. And the bottom line is, how do we keep an optimal state of performance in the face of a VUCA context? So again, the context is VUCA. Each one of you has a VUCA capacity or a VUCA capability. Does that make sense? Say yes, got it. Give me a thumbs up or whatever you can on the chat just to make sure that people are getting it. Okay, perfect. So how to thrive in this environment, how to thrive in VUCA. We're going to talk about mindset, the right mindset that we need to adopt to be VUCA capable, because that's the bottom line. The bottom line is that we need to build our VUCA capability. VUCA isn't going away. We do wish that things would go back to normal. There's a lot of talking about there's going to be a new normal. There's probably going to be some talk in this webinar about the new normal in marketing and managing your businesses and how to develop strategy for the new context that's emerging. So in a VUCA context, that's basically it. It's basically emerging. We're responding to what's emerging. And as leaders and entrepreneurs, we need to be able to actually observe, notice, and respond at a rapid pace. So we need to, I like saying we need to adapt fast or die slow. So we're facing VUCA. We need to up our VUCA capacity. And to up our VUCA capacity, my invitation is that we need to train just like an athlete would train and just like a warrior would train. So all my clients that I work with, while I'm working with them in dealing with their complex challenges, and while I'm working with them in trying to reach their goals, we're also teaching them how to train themselves every single day to build their VUCA complexity capable capacity. Make sense? So we need to train if we want to stay optimal. We need to train if we want to stay. There's a saying that says you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. So we can't stop VUCA, but we can learn to navigate it. We can learn to be leaders in it, and we can learn to thrive with the right practices and with the right tools. So today, even though there's in my work, there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of concepts. I want to start with the basic premise that we start training with, and that's the right mindset. We need to develop the right mindset. We need to develop a VUCA capable mindset. And before I talk about specifically what that mindset might look like, I want to introduce one other term to describe context. So not only do we, okay, somebody put there that I froze. Please give me a thumbs up or a yes. You're good. If I'm flowing again, if you can see me, it's good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So context is VUCA. We all have a VUCA capacity. We have to build that VUCA capacity if we want to thrive in a VUCA world. That's the basic premise here. We need to develop the right mindset to be able to do that. And I'm just going to talk about that in a minute. But before that, I want to invite you guys, share another concept with you guys, and then invite you to read up on this concept, which is called the infinite gain mentality. So this guy named Simon Sinek, I don't know if any of you have heard of Simon Sinek. He's pretty mainstream. He made a video called Start With Why. Like, for us to be unbreakable, for us to thrive, We need to understand our why. We need to understand our reason. We need to understand why we do what we do, and we need to really connect with that. And I fully agree with him. But he introduced another concept, which he didn't develop, but he wrote a book on it, and he tailored it to businesses. And it's called the infinite game. And so the infinite game is basically that we are all in a non-ending game. Every business that you're in, every entrepreneurship that you're running, every year we're always playing this infinite game. And there really is no finish line. There really is no goal to be met. I'm pretty sure you all had plans for this year. I'm pretty sure you all had developed strategies and what your goals were going to be. And I'm pretty sure also that this COVID-19 thing just sidetracked everybody. So if we look at the amount of time that everybody's been in their business, the amount of time that you've been working and trying to either make ends meet or be successful, somebody put here, muy bien, yeah, yep, he's awesome, yeah, he is very awesome. You'll realize that this is continuous. I mean, we're in it for the long run here. We're in it every year. We set new goals. Every year we start again. Every client we celebrate, and then we need to look for another client. And success and failure really isn't an absolute. It's actually just a moment. So give me a yes or a thumbs up if you ever had like a moment of success. Like you got a really good client, and it was like, yeah, that was awesome. But then the game starts again. Or you had a failure. You failed with a client. You did really bad with a client, but that wasn't the end either. That wasn't the end goal. It didn't finish there. It keeps on going. So we're in an infinite game. So we navigate VUCA world, and we're playing in an infinite game. We need to train to build our VUCA capacity, just like a warrior would train or an athlete would train. And we need to learn to play and to develop an infinite game mentality. So that's the basic premise. So the infinite game mentality and the mindset that I need to face VUCA with, the mindset that I need to approach this level of uncertainty and complexity would be the following. And here I adopt and I base this on Stoic philosophy. So not only am I going to recommend you guys read Simon Sinek and the Infinite Game, because I think that will really help you with the mindset that we need to be able to thrive in complexity, but the other book that I'm going to recommend, so that you guys, if we never meet again and we never see each other again, you guys can build on this on your own. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. It's written by a guy named Ryan Holiday. The Obstacle is the Way. So it's based on Stoic philosophy. Those are the two books that I would recommend we read right now in these times, in these dire times, so we can start really developing the mentality that we need to be able to thrive in a VUCA world and playing the infinite game as entrepreneurs. So what's the mindset that we need to approach this with? One is we need acceptance. We need to accept that this is reality. The world is VUCA. We've all dealt with some form of VUCA in our lives at one time or another. I know that working with my clients, I have worked with clients at personal VUCA level, and I'll describe it like this. At a personal level, if I'm going through some sort of VUCA in my life, some sort of crisis or complex challenge, most of you won't be able to relate to me. Nobody will feel what I feel and how I feel while I'm going through this experience. It's really personal. It's basically only mine. Then there's more communal, like community VUCA, like when your community or your family is going through something, and it's really limited to the community. If you've ever had a natural disaster, if you live in Houston or New York or something like that, these experiences that these people go through as a community, it's really their experience, but they can connect, that they can relate to each other. It's like, I know what you're going through, I know what you feel, but if you talk to somebody outside, it's really hard to relate and connect. If that makes sense, say yes, it makes sense. This is, in my work, the first time that I am experiencing the collective connectedness in the VUCA uncertainty complex challenge that we are facing today. In other words, I can be here in Central America or in South America, you can be there in North America, in different states, in different businesses, and we all get a sense of going through the same thing. So this is the first time that there is this very easy connection between us because we're going through the same thing as a human species, sort of say. I mean, it sounds very existential and way out there, but this is probably one of the first times in a long time to this type of context. So we need to accept that things are in that way. Yeah, we can wrap up in 5 minutes for sure. So one is we need to accept that that's how things are. It's a VUCA world. Two, the goal is to grow. Right now, during this time, this is the moment that we should all be really doing the inner work, that we should really be honing our skills, learning new abilities, reading those books that we haven't read, doing the practices that we haven't done. I mean, this is really the time for you to enhance yourself as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a person. So one, we accept that the world is VUCA. Two, we use this time to grow. We use these opportunities to grow. We really use that dead time to really be finding new ways of acting, of behaving, of thinking, different approaches, letting go. And number three, so one, the mindset that we need to approach VUCA is, I need to accept. Two, the end is to grow. We need to see VUCA as a vehicle for our growth, as people, as humans, as persons, as entrepreneurs. And three, we need to serve. So we don't just grow for our own needs. We don't just grow to satisfy our own needs. We grow so that we can contribute and serve those around us. And this can be from your family and your kids and being a resource for your family in these times, to being able to serve your clients, to being able to serve your community, like what Jonathan is doing with this initiative, is being able to serve the greater community. But that is the mindset that we need to develop if we want to thrive in a VUCA world, if we want to learn to play the infinite game. Simon Sinek says that if we want to play the infinite game, we need a just cause, which means that we need to serve, we need to contribute, we need to impact in a positive way. We need to find those ways to not just grow for ourselves, but grow so that we can support others. So again, wrapping up, we face a VUCA world. We need to be VUCA capable. We are playing an infinite game, and we need an infinite game mentality. So the mindset that I'm going to approach this with is one, acceptance, two, growth, and three, contribution. We're going to contribute to those around us in the best way possible. So with that, I don't know if there's going to be time for questions or comments. I would like to take a deep breath and just thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share this perspective and this invitation with all of you. I wish you guys to stay VUCA capable, to stay safe, to stay healthy, and to be able to support the ones that you love and yourselves. Amen. Amen, Mariam.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jose. I really appreciate you coming on, sharing that message. But I think, what we all need to keep in mind is that now more than ever, no one's ever seen anything like this, and it's easy for us to get down and truly lose sight on what's going on and how do we stay strong for our team. So I just wanted to be able to bring you in here to help people get the mindset that they need to be able to push their team and truly punch through the wall and thrive and not just survive during this time. So thank you so much. I see some people asking for your contact info and stuff. Jose, feel free to drop your website and link there, and we'll also send out all of his contact info in the follow-up email for everyone. So thank you so much. All right, so awesome. Okay, so And Jose, if you don't mind, could you pass back the host to Drew, please? Okay, so, guys, now more than ever, we understand that our customers still need our services. And, the second part of this webinar is going to be, I said there's three things that we need to be successful in our business. And we need the positive mindset. We just heard from Jose and how we can keep that, and some tools and some books that we can turn to make sure that we do have that mindset during these times. But also we need to talk about the strategy. The strategy and the tools were the other two things that we needed to do. And so what we're going to talk about with the strategy is, what message should we be delivering to our customers, how we should be delivering it, and then on which platforms that we should get that message out there to them. So, all right. So we know that our customers right now, just like you and your family, they are isolated to their homes for the longest extended period of time that we've ever known of. Right now, our kids should be in school. We should be out at work, or our loved ones should be at work, but we're not, right? We're stuck inside our home, and we are using the tools and the services that each of us on this call are responsible for. What we do is what is being used at an unprecedented amount right now. And so we understand that it's just a matter of time before the HVAC issues arise. There's several of us on this call right now, that also have other divisions like plumbing, and we understand that the plumbing issues are just around the corner as well. So what we have noticed here, and as you see on the screen, is that right now, HVAC related key terms, according to Google Trends, and all of you can go to Google Trends and check this out and put in some keywords for your market and your region to be able to see what the volume looks like. But we're seeing almost a 5,000% increase on search volume for HVAC related keywords. So that is just something that is just hard for us to get our heads around right now, but it should be extremely positive for each of us on this call. We are actually seeing search volumes that are equivalent to middle of the peak summers, whenever we're seeing 10, 15 days of the month are in the 100 degrees. That is what we're seeing right now with these search terms. And we understand that it is happening because of so much time that is being spent at home with our units running around the clock. Now, with that, with all of our friends and family stuck inside the home and being forced to be there, we're also seeing a record consumption of social media time. It goes hand in hand. We're bored, we have nothing to do, so we're on social media and we're searching. But one thing that we can tell you that is happening is that the traditional ads that we see, so many people have dropped off from social media. And it's because the business isn't open. We've got boutiques and daycares and things of that nature that have been closed down. So they're not advertising on social media anymore. So this is a prime time for you to be able to have your business where your consumers are searching and where they're spending the majority of their time right now. And there's only two reasons that you will not get these calls that we are seeing on the search results, the extreme increase of volume. And the reasons that would be were your customers, they don't think you're open, or they're concerned that it's not going to be safe. Now, that message around should be, we are open and our team is trained to keep you and your family safe. And what does that look like? Does that message You know, are you putting that out in a text message? Are you putting it out into an email blast? Well, what we've done is we have created all of these tools and all of this messaging. And this is the same messaging that we have provided for our clients. And we wanted to share it to everybody on this call. So we're going to drop the link into the chat window. Drew, if you could drop that in there for me, that'd be great. And then, let's see, we got some chats coming in. We've got some questions. How do we protect our clients and workers? Great question. All right. So if we'll drop that in there, and Drew, if we will just go over to the messaging kit. And what I want to do is I want to show each and every one of you what is in this messaging kit. We have provided the templates that we should be using for our blog posts, for our social media messaging. We've got scripts in there for your videos that you should be shooting. Like, this is a time that you as the business owner should be in front of your customers as much as you possibly can. This is a time that the message should be, we're open, we're here for you, and we're doing everything in our mesh, you know, that we possibly can to make sure that you are safe and that you are also keeping us safe. Let's see. All right, so here's the messaging kit. And inside of this kit, we are going to have your email message. And guys, I know there were some questions on there like how you can keep your customers safe. We have detailed steps in here. Now, obviously, this is a full swipe, and you can edit this to fit your business and the culture of your business. But these are just some simple steps that we should all be taking. You know, letting your customers know that you're, you know, using, you know, sanitizing the trucks and vehicles on a daily basis. We have some of our clients that are sanitizing the trucks and vans several times a day. That we are using protective gloves, that we're using protective masks. So all of this is in here as far as what measures we're taking for washing our hands, and you know, there's different types of masks out there that our clients are using. We actually have some resources available that you can reach out to us to help you get masks and gloves if that is a shortage that you're having. We do have some contacts that can help you. We have blog post content in here. We've got website pop-up features. You know, this is something that should be on each and every one of your websites. And whether it's a slider on your website or if it's a pop-up banner, you need to have this message on here so that when your customers find you, they understand that you are open for business and that you're fully aware of everything that's taking place and that these are the steps that you're taking to keep their family safe. We've got video examples in here from some of our clients. We've got the full video scripts. Guys, we don't need a video production company. We just need you as the business owner to get in front of the camera and let your customers know that you're ready to give back to the community, you understand what they're going through, and that you are there to help them. Your team is safe. Your team is taking every step possible, you know, all the way down to if one of your team members isn't feeling well, that they're going to be, you know, forced to stay home and self-quarantine themselves to ensure that, you know, that they're not going to pass this illness or virus on to any of your customers. And then the same goes in the messaging, where you should be asking your customers in a message, in an email blast, in a video that says, look, we're taking all the steps to ensure the safety for you and your family. But at the same time, if you or anyone inside your home is not feeling well, please do us a favor and let us know so that we can reschedule once we know that it's safe to come in. We've also got Facebook ad examples in here. So these are all swipe and deploy. Y'all can use these, or have your agency that represents you to change out the imagery, or if you want to reach out to us to help you out, we'll be more than happy to help any of you out. But the messaging should be extremely simple. We're open for business and we're here to help. So if they have HVAC problems and issues, you want them to know that simple thing. You're open for business and you're ready to help. Well, let me see, we've got some chats coming in. We've got some people saying that they've got shortages of masks. That is awesome. We will definitely provide that for you. Drew dropped the link in there. And guys, when you click that link, it's just gonna automatically download this Word document to where you can fully edit anything that's in here. We also have our 10-mile Facebook domination step-by-step playbook that's in here, because we want you to, if you have a company that's helping you, we want you to just be able to pass this on. We want you to be able to tell them that this is the message that, that Cornerstone is seeing work for our hundreds of customers all across the country, and that this is the message that we should really be getting across. So all of this is in here. Please feel free to use any and all of it, and we truly hope that this is going to help you. Drew, can you pull back the... And while we're getting the PowerPoint back up, if there's any questions that anyone has about the swipe and deploy COVID-19 documents there that we just went over, please feel free to ask now. But guys, listen, this should be a message that each and every one of us is getting across through every single platform we possibly can. And it should be on a daily basis. So if that's, using Facebook Live, if that is an email blast, if that is text message, depending on how you communicate with your customers, we need to get that message out on a daily basis. And as far as, social media goes, we understand that the consumption of social media is at an all-time high. So get those ads out there. I want to talk briefly about the strategy that we're taking from our agency right now to our customers. So we understand that we're all living in a high emotional state right now. I think we can all agree with that. And with that, high emotions, we understand that there can be big wins that come from it. And for your business, there's going to be opportunity for big wins in the next coming months. But because of the heightened emotion state that we're living in, we also have to understand that there's going to be an opportunity to make mistakes, and they could have long-lasting consequences attached to them. And what I mean by that is, this is a time that people don't want to be sold. They don't want to be pushed into something or tricked into something. So we need to be really cautious on how we present our messaging. So for us in our agency, we are taking this approach: happy memories, reflective thoughts, being human, and asking for nothing in return. So that's our strategy. We want our clients, even if it's just taking their phone out and shooting a video, and the husband and wife, or if we've got a long history of people in the company, and we've got the grandfather and the dad and the son, we want them to shoot a short video. We want them to come from the heart. We want them to say, why we started this business. We care about this community that we're in, and we want to give back. And that is what is going to allow our clients to thrive during this crisis that we're all in. We want to showcase happy memories of our clients being in that market for a very long time. But more importantly, we just want to show that they're human. and that they're living through this and going through these difficult times, and they're also concerned with being in someone's home that could be sick and bringing it back to their family. But the key point here is asking for nothing in return. That's how you advertise in a time of crisis. If you want to be the company that people think of first and feel the best about. Think about that. I mean, we're showing you, and we're going to continue to show you here in a few minutes, that the search volumes are up and they're only going to increase. And it's of our opinion that we are going to see more residential replacements than we typically would repair work and service work. And we feel that way because we understand that if this continues and the uncertainty continues to linger, that people are going to want to hold on to their money a little longer. So all of these finance companies, and we strongly encourage and suggest you, if you haven't already, reach out to your lending institutions that you use for your business and find out what kind of deals and rates and specials that they currently have out there, because those are things that you should be promoting. Now, I would suggest that you promote it as part of your retargeting efforts. When I say retargeting, I mean make your Facebook ads all about we're here and we're open. Make your Facebook ads about the happy memories and the reflective thoughts and being human and not asking for anything in return. But once they engage with those ads of yours, then let the retargeting take place. We know that they've seen your brand. We understand that you've created that customer bonding through those ads and those videos that you've created. Now it's time to show them, if they're interested because they've engaged with your ad, let the retargeting be about 0% interest for 18 months or no payments for 6 months. I've seen different offers through different lending institutes, but find out what you can put out there, because we think, you take someone that has a 6 or 7 year old unit where they would typically spend the $600 or $700 or $800 to fix their system. They're going to be more interested and more inclined in replacing that unit whenever there's a special financing offer out there. So I encourage each and every one of you to please, reach out to your lenders, and let's find out what we can start promoting. So with that, we've talked briefly about these trends that we're seeing. So this is emergency AC. We're seeing the same thing for emergency plumbing. If you notice here, this is a 5-year span. But what we want you to see is when you compare March of 20 compared to March any other year, like the numbers, the increase of volume that we're seeing is comparable to a June or July in a very hot season. So guys, I want to really, try to get you encouraged here that if the calls are not coming in now, when the heat was here in Dallas last week, our clients that are in Florida, the calls are going to come in. Your customers are going to need you. And all they're going to want to know is, are you open, and are you taking the right measures and steps to keep my family safe? And if we can get that message and truly cultivate that message around all of the platforms that are available, we're going to win, and we're going to win in this together, and we're going to thrive during this time. Now, with that, I want to introduce our next speaker, and this is going to be, something that all of us on this call can really get excited about. So, Mark Irving is chiefly responsible for creating WorkStream's data-driven PPC industry research. They analyze data and they spot trends for over 30,000 Google, Bing, and Facebook ad accounts. He regularly presents his research on trends in the PPC industry on webinars and conferences around the world, and his work has also been featured on outlets such as the Washington Post, MSNBC, and CNN. Mark was recently named the most influential PPC expert in 2019 by both PPC Hero and Microsoft. It is my honor and pleasure to have Mark here, and I thank you so much. And I would like to pass it over to you now. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Jonathan. Really can't argue or compete with an introduction like that. So let's just hope that I can deliver up to it. Okay, so I'm going to take the screen. I'm going to start sharing a little bit. You've now the pleasure of seeing my screen. And guys, what I want to do over the next 15 or 20 minutes is really just to talk about how we can optimize our paid search throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Obviously, there's tons of things going on that's affecting our businesses, our ability to execute, but also all of our marketing campaigns. So we have to be very agile in a rapidly changing world. And I'm not going to talk about myself, but I've been doing this now for 8 years. And this is, again, even though I might be the most influential person in the paid search world, and even if I have 30,000 accounts in front of me, news changes quickly and the world is changing quickly alongside that. With that, and I think that this is something that both Jonathan and Jose spoke to a lot, there's a lot of stuff that I cannot personally control. We can't control the virus, the news, the closing of schools, the world around us. But what we do have control over is our mood and our reaction and the decisions we make. And so the biggest thing that we can do here as the world changes and as we have to react to changes in our business and changes in the world and changes in our own marketing campaigns is make smart decisions and control what we can control. So there's going to be a heavy temptation here to react. Of course, every pundit is going to say, hey, you need to do this now. You need to abandon X, Y, and Z. You need to shift the way that you do your business today. Even myself, I find this, hey, I'm also stuck to a 700 square foot apartment. It can be very exhausting having all of this come at you so quickly and then being forced to react immediately. I would say the best recommendation I can give to anyone as a business owner, as a marketer, or even just as a person, stay informed, but please make smart marketing decisions based off of the data that you're seeing. And so if that means that someone is sending you a whole lot of information, you become overwhelmed, do just take a step back, hop off that call, turn off your camera for a minute, step away, get some water, get some coffee, come back with a cool, collected mind and make some decisions based off of the data that you can see and you can begin to control. Beyond all of this, before we even talk about the marketing arm of all of this, we do have to be aware of the resources that are available to us to keep our businesses open and afloat during all of this uncertain time. And so some real world talk is a lot of us, a lot of our clients, a lot of our partners, a lot of our businesses are going to have some financial hardship. A lot of, whether or not you're an essential business or whether you're not an essential businesses, a lot of us are going to see a decreased revenue stream as people are less likely to convert during this point in time. So there are a number of financial relief options that are available to small and medium businesses. First, with the CARES Act, which was passed last week through Congress, this is for small businesses. It's very, applications actually open up tomorrow for loans up to $10 million or 2.5 times your average monthly total payroll. And that's ideally to cover things like expenses for your employees, your rent, your mortgage, etc. Those applications open up tomorrow. In addition to these payroll loans, there are also the Small Business Association disaster loans, which cover expenses, loans up to $2 million at very competitively low 3.75% interest rates for small and medium businesses. Beyond this, we do have some tax relief coming in the form from the IRS. First, their 2019 returns aren't due until July, so there's a 3-month extension passed on to all taxpayers. as well as there are additional considerations for tax relief credits and payment deferments for those affected by COVID. Now, for those of you who are advertising on Google Ads and have been advertising on Google Ads for at least a year now, there is also a lump sum of $340 million in Google Ads credits coming through to small, medium businesses whom are on Google Ads. Eligible advertisers will begin to automatically receive this within their accounts, starting, and Google quotes me the phrase, in phases starting in late Q2 of 2020. So that does give us about a month and a half where we won't get these credits yet and where we'll still be advertising on our own dime. But know the fact that as we are making these accommodations and as campaigns continue to shift, and as your budgets are of course going to increase into busier summer months, there is going to be relief in the form of advertising credit for those of you who are advertising on Google Ads. Now, in a world where the world is changing very quickly, there are some 4 important PPC trends that are impacting your campaigns, particularly in the HVAC world. So when we go and we look at seasonal trends in the HVAC world, particularly in the United States, we do see that this right now, not that there's ever a good time for a pandemic, of course, but in the HVAC space, this currently comes at a place where we are between the winter cold months and the heat of the summer. And so this is a natural lull on the Google SERP where there is appreciably less traffic for HVAC in general. So although, of course, COVID is impacting all of our campaigns, we saw that particularly in the emergency air conditioning and emergency HVAC fields, those are already seeing an uptick. Still, we anticipate further uptick in the coming months, and we generally see that be a function of seasonality more than anything else. What's really fascinating about HVAC on the Google SERP, though, is that there's this very interesting dichotomy for how people go about searching for HVAC service, repair, and installation in the United States. Looking back to Q4, we saw that almost half of all searches came from mobile devices, people on their phone, and the other half coming from computers and laptops. And this is a very interesting shift. Generally, you see a lot of industries be either mobile dominated or desktop dominated. There being this very mixed shift, split between desktop and mobile, and really tablet playing almost no part in the overall ecosystem, has some interesting consequences for how advertisers go about adjusting their campaigns during this point in time. Because it's really worth thinking about this if you previously got half of your business from people searching on mobile and half of them searching on desktop, that's likely to shift in the coming weeks. What we're already seeing is that since the beginning of March, as people are less mobile, as many people are sheltering in place, or as many people generally avoid travel or non-essential travel, we're actually seeing that mobile ad traffic has decreased about 24% from where it was a month ago. And so a lot of what you previously have seen as that half of your traffic that was coming through mobile, that traffic is down considerably, but that's being made up more in people whom are staying at home and spending more time on their device of choice at home, which is their desktop computer or their laptop computer. So all of a sudden, there's this large shift in the paid search or even paid advertising world where your focus becomes more on that desktop audience and how you go about converting that desktop user who might be more reserved to necessarily pick up the phone, pick up a second device and make a phone call, that they might look to complete this action or this conversion directly on their desktop computer. Third big trend is that people are searching more off hours. One thing that's been appreciably noticed is that COVID-19 is keeping people up later, in part due to the fact that our world is turned up. There's a lot more anxiety. People are just staying up later as people are losing their regular routines. But additionally, people are staying up later because they don't have to be up for work as early, and that they don't necessarily have the same commute that they previously did before COVID world. So what we're actually seeing is that although search traffic is down a lot during the day, that's made up particularly in the late evening and the early morning hours after midnight. And so we're seeing a whole lot more search during those hours, which at first begins to present an opportunity, but it actually presents a little bit more of a problem as well. Because what we generally see, particularly in the HVAC world, is that people convert more during typical business and typical daytime hours, sometimes a little bit into the evening as well. But that late night traffic, that surge of late night traffic, generally isn't necessarily sitting there and looking to make a phone call or book an appointment. A lot of it is idle searches or tired searches. And so there is some hesitation in the fact that, yes, there is growing search in these late night hours, but a lot of that search isn't the greatest search, particularly in the HVAC space. When you think about how your industry responds to things such as the weather and the heat, well, quite frankly, the nighttime is very seldomly the time in which I'm beginning to think about my air conditioning. It's generally during the hottest hours of the day that you see those conversion rates really spike and a lot of search interest happen. That extra traffic at 1 a.m. doesn't quite do you the same benefit. So with this, it begins to propose some tactical challenges that we need to begin to address in our campaigns as people search more off hours. Where that's a lesser quality search, maybe we want to pay less for that search and bid down during those off hours, or very genuinely, if we're not prepared to have 24-hour service, or if we don't have someone answer the phone calls that come in at 1 a.m., or if we just don't think that that's valuable traffic for us at all, maybe we want to exclude our campaigns from running, particularly during those hours. That way we have more of our budget to spend during the middle of the day. Now, of course, as things on Google continue to shift, we are seeing, of course, people searching less on Google at this point in time across multiple industries. What we're really seeing is the emergency services, those people who need running essential businesses, particularly running medical offices, medical spaces, do need that service, and they do need it quickly. But in general, we're seeing decrease in Google search volume across multiple industries. We do see, while Google is decreasing, a lot of other networks are picking up. So Bing, for instance, is holding relatively steady to what we would typically see it. Other search networks, Ask, AOL, Yahoo, etc., those networks are holding relatively steady. But we actually see an increased usage of some of the things that Jonathan was speaking about, where the Google Display Network is getting appreciably more lift in traffic, as well as YouTube and social as well. So there is opportunity to offset some of the losses that you might have through your traditional search campaigns with advertising across different networks here. So as you begin to think about who and where you're reaching your customers during this changing world, it's also worth thinking about what you're saying to them and what your messages are specifically out there reaching. Even if you went through and you had great ads in February, COVID does cast a little bit of a different light over things. And so the ads that you wrote a month ago now might carry unintentional messages or undesired imagery. I use these two examples because they're painfully on the nose these days, but someone who was writing an ad for virus checks a month ago, certainly this ad would have read great in the month of February, but as that term takes on a new meaning in COVID light, this doesn't quite resonate to what most people are searching for. I actually got this ad on the right earlier today for a restaurant near me that reads, "Feed your friends, whether it's the big game or a Wednesday, bring your people together with your favorite chicken." again, in February, perfectly fine ad, but today, bring my friends together to watch a game is just tone deaf in the world that we're all unfortunately living in today. And so even if it's not as blatant as what's on the screen right now, there's still a lot of campaigns or a lot of ad copy, or even the copy on your own landing page may need a freshening up. And so you do want to be careful for specific insensitive words. You may have written in the past something about a killer deal, or people are dying for this new model, or something going viral, or make references to holiday sports or events. Today, that's not the greatest message that you want to send out there. Instead, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the messages that our brand have are supportive, but not reading opportunistic. So you do want to help people. You want to help people. You want to connect. You want to navigate. You want them to cope, and you want them to prepare for the summer months and prepare for the heat, rather than using terms like take advantage of this new offer or opportunity. And finally, you may want to adjust some of your offers in your ad copy and your landing page to adjust for relevancy, given the fact that everyone has a little bit different sensitivity to what the world looks like today. So there's no need to necessarily create a sense of urgency today like you may have had to a week or a month ago. Certain things like call now or before it's too late, well, a lot of us have all the time in the world today and don't necessarily need to, we don't need to incite that sense of urgency where they aren't running between multiple things and taking the kids between different appointments and traveling in X, Y, and Z. Sense of urgency kind of goes out the window in a COVID world. Instead, you do want to value prop your own brand's convenience and reliability here. And you want to use words to reinforce the safety of your audience. Use messaging like in-home or contact-free, safe and sanitary, et cetera, et cetera. A big part of this, though, is the fact that even if you're advertising on certain keywords, you might be advertising on the word air conditioning repair. And that might be a great word for you to advertise on in a general world, but that does serve to everyone who is searching for that particular keyword today. And the challenge is that everyone is slightly different. And what a homeowner is looking for when they're searching for home air conditioning repair begins to differ from what a restaurant owner whose business is closed, or an essential business whose business is open, or an architect or a contractor who might be looking for someone to partner with for an upcoming project, or someone in Texas or Florida who has 80-degree weather is going to have a very different kind of look on air conditioning repair than someone like me who's based in Boston. And with that, where we have so many people searching for the same keyword, it becomes very difficult to write one ad that speaks to all of those people and what they're looking for, particularly today in a COVID world. And so what I stress is that don't try to make any single ad perfect. Instead, what we want to do is you want to think about writing the best ad for all of these different people who are out here searching. So there's going to be this mass market, and they're going to be out there. They're going to be sensitive to price. We're all going to have that mass market. Everyone has some sensibility to price. And you're going to have this best message in terms of same-day service, free quotes, what have you, whatever differentiates you from your competitors. But think through all the other personas out there. Some people are going to be very conscious towards that safe and sanitary aspect. Some of us are going to be looking for help within our businesses that are closed and have no sense of urgency, but are looking to book a solution for the summer or in advance of the summer. A lot of us are going to be economically stressed in the next couple of months. And so if you have that ability to offer financing or deferment or something along those lines, that messaging will speak to that persona very well. And your past customers who are out there that have worked with you in the past, always think about your past customers as well and how you might message to them to keep their business. And with that, you do want to include multiple variants of your ad within every particular ad group, whether that's on Google or Microsoft or Facebook or what have you, because we see that just by giving these networks multiple ads to target to users, it allows Google or Microsoft or Facebook to match those messages to those users more effectively. And so we see that even if we don't write great ads, just by having more ads, we're able to make that message match a lot more efficiently. And we see that ad groups that have more ads generally also have a higher engagement rate, a higher click-through rate as well. Now, if you're looking to take this at scale and really get the most out of it, there is this opportunity with Google's responsive search ads or Microsoft's responsive search ads that allows you to provide 15 different headlines and 4 different descriptions. And they'll go about choosing, mixing, and matching those different messages alongside each other, which gives Google up to 43,600 different variations of your ads. With that, I pray that no one previously was manually testing 43,000 different messages of your ads, but that gives Google a whole lot of opportunity to play around with different versions of your messaging, knowing what they know about where, how, when, and who is searching for these keywords, that they can begin to better match that message to the right audience at the right time without doing all that manual ad testing work. And so with that, I know I said a lot very quickly. Biggest things I can take away from this are, firstly, focus on your business. Make sure that you have the financial capital to stay afloat. Secondly, keep an eye open for trends as they are going to influence your paid and your organic search campaigns. Look for opportunities off of Google SERP, including Microsoft, including Bing, including display ads, social video. And finally, think about your ads in a different light, given the fact that everyone's going to react differently to the messages that we see today. Guys, I want to thank you guys for having me today.
Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate that. I'm sure our audience appreciates that. It was great content from someone who gets to look over so many different ads, and so much ad spend. To be able to see these trends is absolutely amazing and very insightful. So really appreciate that. Is there any questions? But I'm getting ready to wrap things up. Was there any questions that anyone had for Mark, PPC specific? If it's something quick that he can give you that answer, I'd love for you to be able to ask that question now. And if it's something that you want to be able to ask offline, we will take care of that and make sure that Mark is able to answer it. Thank you again. Thank you so much, Mark. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I just wanted to recap and close out the webinar, by going over again the marketing strategy. We want to keep our SEO strong. We have to understand that we're looking at 250,000 plus small businesses that probably are not that they're projecting are not going to make it through this COVID crisis. So there's going to be in that number, we're going to lose some of our service industry. There's going to be some smaller contractors that are not going to be prepared, may lose their staff. The staff just doesn't want to work through it. We've seen that inside of our agency. And if you don't have a staff and a team, it's going to be hard to work no matter how many calls come in. So I say that to say your SEO, it's your long-term search strategy, but it needs to stay strong and consistent, and you're going to have the opportunity to jump past several of your competitors that may fall out during this time. Max out your PPC campaign. And, like Mark was saying, obviously we need to make sure that we're financially sound, but with the search trends that are happening and the projections that we're seeing, there's no better opportunity than now to be able to make sure that if you haven't been in the PPC game, that you could get in it now and get some really big wins. And Google Local Services, strongly recommend that if you're not part of Google Local Services, please do it now. I'll make sure to drop that link into the follow-up email that goes out so that you can register and get started with Google Local Services. Remember the 10-mile domination strategy. It's in our COVID marketing kit. Please implement that. Pass that on to your team and let them help you dominate that 10-mile. And remember the updates. Make sure that we're updating our customers on a daily basis. Social media, email blasts, text messaging, whatever resources that you have to be able to reach your customers. Please keep them informed and let them know you're open for business, you're here to help them, and that you understand and that you can relate to what they're going through. That should be all part of your messaging. So, guys, if there's any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat right now. We'll also drop this link. Drew, if you'll drop that link. For anybody who has any follow-up questions, for anyone who would like us to run any kind of analytics or put any kind of reports together to help you out, whether it was something that Mark spoke on from PPC or if it's looking at something on your website, whatever it may be. Remember, guys, we are a direct partner with York. We want to be able to help and give back. So anything that we can help you with to help you get through this COVID crisis, please reach out to us. If you have any issues swiping or downloading any of the Facebook graphics and ads that we provided, we'll do everything we can to help you in any kind of way. So please do not hesitate. We want to be in this with you together. We want to make sure that each and every one of you on today's call truly thrives during this downtime and crisis that we're going through. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank York for being our partner in this and allowing us to be able to speak to you today. And we hope you have a great day. We hope you truly thrive over the next several weeks and next several months. And if there's any follow-up questions, again, please shoot us an email or schedule us on our calendar link there. Thank you all for the messages, and we wish you all the best, and we'll be praying for each and every one of you during this time. So thank you, and y'all have a great day.